Go for it, girls particularly. It's been very interesting having this renewed interest, very unexpected, very slightly discombobulating. It was a good moment for him to be young, and it was a particularly good moment to be young in Glasgow, where there was quite a lively music scene. You know, it's clear from the documentary that there are structural barriers for women, groups of women achieving success, but you don't want to catastrophise it too much. As I say, most bands that make one album get dropped. It's not the end of the world. You know, it's fine. All girl bands, and I think this is probably still the case, are largely viewed by the industry as kind of novelty acts. So in terms of long-term investment, there have been very few girl bands in Scotland who have made a second album, for example. So I think that is an issue really being taken seriously. I was in a couple of bands in the 1980s, and they sort of came to a natural end, or the second one did, just around 1990. So after that, I was an actor for a couple of years, but I didn't really enjoy that very much. So it was at that point I decided to go to university. So I came to London from Scotland then to do a degree at Goldsmiths, and then I carried on to do a PhD. I got funding to do that from what was then the Scottish office, but which would now be the Scottish Government. And then after I finished my PhD, I managed to secure a temporary lecturing post at Royal Holloway, and then a permanent post at Kingston. And then I came to Reading at the end of 2021, and I was appointed as head of the School of Arts and Communication Design. Awareness is a big issue really for young women to sort of be aware of like some of the challenges that they might face, and to be able to recognise like structural oppression, if you want to call it, for what it is really, and not to blame yourself. I think this is a really key area across a lot of areas where oppression is kind of structural, you know, whether it's around like class or race and ethnicity or gender. It's really important for us to help our students to understand that it's not them that's the problem. So I think the documentary does manage to walk quite a good line between celebrating the achievements of these women, but also sort of pointing out that that there are these recurring difficulties. And this thing about like she might get pregnant, this is a problem not just in that industry. Maybe it's more maybe that's spotlighted in that industry. It's certainly spotlighted in the documentary, but if you just look at the numbers of to women in any job in this country, there's a price to pay for having babies. That's the way it is. It's called the patriarchy. What I would say that one of the things that I hope that young people can learn from my career path, like personally, is that there is no wrong path. That you can change your career, that you can do different things, that you can find other things that you're interested in doing, and that you can kind of make it up as you go along. You sort of, I guess that's my punk rock roots really. You can just busk it. You can busk it and you can end up being head of school. Go for it, girls particularly. Yeah.